So tree or trellis? It's a great question and asked by a lot of people wanting to garden more naturally with vines and forest agriculture systems. So here we've got a hardy kiwi that's actually kind of a testament to my failure of design, because we originally planted this kiwi next to a mulberry that has since died. Most likely not from the kiwi. Most likely either my field mice or something nibbled the bark, or bad genetics. Either way, it's dead. And my lack of foresight didn't plan this kiwi's planting spatially enough with another tree in proximity. So I am left to really erecting this crude temporary trellis to kind of train this kiwi over to this hazelnut, and then I'll end up probably bringing it off to another nearby mulberry or some other tree. I've got a willow planted nearby too that I might trellis it into. But what we're talking about today is the importance of design in our systems and how it can save you a lot of time and perhaps money. So, if I were to be with a very traditional mindset used in agriculture, and that of vineyards particularly, and I wanted to grow, let's say, well, maybe not a huge vineyard, but maybe I'm doing a backyard and I wanted to grow 3 or 4 grapevines. Well, I could do an arbor. I could do either a long trellis system with wire or posts, or pour cement into the ground and like cement in a post. There's a lot of options for me, but are either going to really hurt my wallet or really hurt my back. So over here, we've got a grapevine growing right up a pear tree. Now this is one of my younger follies where I bought a store-bought pear tree, so it's ridden with disease, but it's still producing pears, and we've got this beautiful grapevine growing up it that's already setting little clusters this year. And for this grapevine, it's probably planted about 5 feet from the trunk. I've tried planting grapevines right next to the trunk, and it just really slows down the grape growth or the grapevine growth. But 5 feet away, 4 feet away, that seems to be an ideal distance to then bring the vine over and give each other enough root space. But I've never built a trellis for this grapevine, nor have I spent any money on it. I just kind of trained it once it got long enough, said, here's your tree, and it went up all on its own. It's designed to climb. And it's that beauty that allows us to stack this function. In this one area, we're getting 2 yields across the year. So, well, they'll be, pear trees and grapevines will be pretty close, but kind of next to each other in one area. And you may say, but Frenchie, if I plant a grapevine with my fruit tree, it's not going to produce as much fruit. And you're right, each individual won't produce as much fruit as it would if it were by itself, mulched and trellised with all of its own sunlight. But what I'm getting is 2 slightly reduced yields, which add together to a greater overall yield on the same area and no labor added. So that's kind of a win-win. We have to save ourselves some work here. So right here is another example. We've got a white mulberry tree, and this mulberry tree is only 3.5 to 4 years old, already producing fruit. I read somewhere earlier today actually that they said it can take 10 years for mulberries to yield fruit. But even in like a full field setting that we're letting go fallow, we're getting fruit off of our mulberries in 3 to 4 years. Absolutely delicious. I've actually got some tent caterpillars here, but we've got, our integrated pest control. Our birds and wasps will soon find this, and they'll keep coming back and taking caterpillars and taking caterpillars. We've even got some parasitic wasps that have started to take over some. I'm seeing some mummified bodies of caterpillars, so they're on their way out. Getting plenty of good-sized mulberries, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch long. Great yields for such a small tree, but in and amongst this tree, Now find some that's not really attached. Okay, maybe not. We've got our grapevine. Our grapevine, so this is different than my 4 to 5 feet rule. But the grapevine was actually growing here first. We initially planted it, and then the mulberry came in. So it probably had its roots already established by the time this mulberry started growing up. But this grapevine didn't waste the chance. It grew right on up this mulberry tree. And if we look around to the side, we can see it coming over, producing fruit. We've got another mulberry tree. This one's male, so this one won't produce fruit, but it'll work as a great trellis. Growing up here, another mulberry behind it that you can't see, but there's trees around. And as the vine grows out, it'll also bring a lot of these branches lower for us. And the weight of the leaves will bring them down. And you could, if you wanted to, prune the tree to be a nice trellis. But when you design it like this, growing a grapevine up a tree, it's storm resistant, wind resistant from the storms. It gets better year after year, as opposed to degrading year after year. Wonderful system. Stacked systems, through height, through time, planning 4, 5, 10 years ahead, will save you effort, save you labor in the long run. Inappropriate design can exponentially increase the amount of work and inputs that you need to put into the system. The better you design something, the less work you have to do. That's a great measurement for how well designed are your systems, is how much work do you need to add and how much work do you need to do to keep the system running. Don't be so addicted to work that you're convinced that only through hard work anything good comes out. We can have low maintenance systems that have high yields, especially as we work with perennials over the years to come. This has been Frenchy Powell, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Grow your vines up trees, stack your systems, create layers throughout your gardens, throughout your plantings. Grow food. I love you guys. Subscribe. Take care.